What's up everyone, how's it going? So in that huge community transmission that we got a couple weeks ago, at some point in it actually said that in the future we will be getting a new feature which will allow us to select the era that we want to play as in Star Wars Battlefront 2. And while that does seem like a really good idea on paper, in my opinion personally, I just don't think it's the right way to go when it comes to something like this, and I'll explain my reasoning in the video. I know that's kind of a controversial statement because a lot of people have been asking for an Era Selector feature for quite a long time now in this game. You know, we have some people that really like the sequel maps, some people that like the original trilogy maps, and then the majority, I'd say, really like the Clone Wars maps. But personally, because I've been playing Capital Supremacy so much, I've been playing a ton of Clone Wars, and so I really want to start playing the sequel maps as well as the original trilogy maps. Because as fun as they are at some point, the Clone Wars maps can get kind of stale from time to time. But personally, I just don't think an Era Selector is really a good idea unless it's more like it's a prioritized selector. So like say you really want to play the Clone Wars, you select that, but if there's no good Clone Wars maps or servers ready to go, it'll instead throw you into like a sequel trilogy map or an original trilogy map. This is kind of how they did the Naboo thing. So whenever Naboo got released for Capital Supremacy, if you clicked on it on the home page of the game, it will try and find you a Naboo map to play on, but if not, it just goes to another map. So I think if they do it that way, it'll be a little bit better. But personally, instead of an Era Selector, I would like to actually have a map voting system. Now, I remember this was actually in one of the old Call of Duty games. I think it was Black Ops 1, I don't know, Black Ops 2 is like the last Call of Duty game that I played, but I remember that game actually had a map voting selection screen at the end of each map, and it actually worked really well for what it was supposed to do. It had either 2 or 3 maps that you can choose on, and in fact you can actually choose the map that you just played to play that again. It was basically just a democracy voting system where whatever the majority vote gets, that's what map you guys are going to play on again. I think this would work really well for Battlefront 2, especially if a new map like say Felucia, whenever that comes, if they had this system in, a bunch of people are going to want to play Felucia quite a lot, so this would obviously be selected for the majority. But again, I just think an Era Selector will split the player base just way too much, because I was searching for a game on Crate I really wanted to play. It's becoming one of my favorite maps, mainly just because of the way it plays and the way it looks and feels and stuff. It's just a really fun map in my opinion. But I just noticed that a lot of people don't really like the way the sequel trilogy maps are laid out and just the way they play. So I feel like the sequel trilogy would get left out quite a lot, and if you are a sequel trilogy fan and you're going to want to play on Takodana or whatever than that, you're going to have quite a hard time finding a sequel map because everyone's going to be selecting, you know, Clone Wars or even the original trilogy era over the sequel trilogy. So that right there is actually my main reason why I think an Era Selector just wouldn't really be too good for the player base. It'd be kind of like adding a bunch of separate modes, you know, it just splits the player base even more, making it harder to find matches in the less populated things. But that's pretty much going to do it for just today's kind of shorter video. I know there's not much to talk about, but I just wanted to get this out there just to show my opinion on things. So let me know in the comments down below what you think about this. Do you agree with this or do you disagree? Do you think a Era Selector is perfect for the game, or would you rather them do my idea where we actually have a map voting selection screen at the end of each match? Go ahead and let me know, and if you did enjoy the video, be sure and leave a like, and if you're new, subscribe for more Star Wars news, gameplay, and more, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one.